What's up, everybody? I want to say thank you for tuning in to another Tuesday night Bible study. It means so much to me that you choose to watch and worship together with us. You could be watching anything, you could be listening to anything else, but you choose on Tuesdays, or at least you chose tonight. Or maybe you're not even watching this live. You're choosing whenever you're choosing to watch this. You're choosing to watch it, choosing to listen. I want to say thank you for it. It means the world. It means you see us as some source of spiritual nourishment, or somebody else told you about us and they see us as some sense of spiritual nourishment. I believe God's going to use our time together for these next few moments that we have to stretch us, to grow us, to guard us, to guide us, to change us, to charge us, and to challenge us. That's what I really believe. I want to say thank you to those who have been connecting with us. Maybe you're watching this and you're not yet a part of our church family. You haven't joined, per se. You can do that right now. You can do that today. I want to invite you to make that decision, if that's you. I know that's normally saved for the end of the message, but maybe you're watching and you want to get it out of the way. It was already on your heart. You can do it now. You can text the word CONNECT to 708-449-8197, or you can click that connect button that's there as an option. Those are there for you to be able to explore. Go to our website, www.empowerment.church. They're also going to make the links available for you in the comments or in the description of this message if you want to make the decision to connect. Maybe you've been joining us on this 7 a.m. prayer call. This 7 a.m. journey has been a stretching one, but it's been a great one. We've been growing at 7 a.m. for about 7 to 10 minutes every Monday through Saturday. 7 a.m. prayer call. It's been great. It's still going. We're keeping it going until we feel like we shouldn't anymore. But right now it's growing. I'm hearing from you all. I feel like I'm growing through it with you all as well. We're getting better every day in every way. We're still getting better and better. If you get a text message to remind you to call in, you can text the word REMIND to 708-449-8197. The word REMIND to 708-449-8197. You text that number and you'll get a text message Monday through Friday about our daily prayer call about 6:57ish. So all you got to do is roll over, click the button, call right in. That's a great way for you to grow. It's a great way for you to tell somebody else to get prayed for. Well, it's been a great journey. I don't want to discount it. I don't want to downplay it. It's been an incredible stretch. It's been hard. It's been challenging some mornings, but we're growing through this time. We're getting better. God's growing us. He's showing us. He's revealing to us. He's speaking to our hearts, and he's reminding us of what it means to cast our cares upon him, knowing that he cares for us. David said, early in the morning will I seek thee. We seeking him early. Better don't start at 10 a.m. Better starts before 7. Call in for that 7 a.m. prayer call. I want to invite you to do so. If you're watching this on a Tuesday, tomorrow you have the chance to get double duty. Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. we do the prayer call. It's at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's at 7 a.m. And Wednesdays there's a 7 a.m. in the morning. There's an 8 p.m. in the evening. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You could call in, same format, same flow. Rarely ever has it been the same scripture. It's definitely not the same prayer. God may give fresh revelation for the same passage. Who knows what God will do? We allow God to be God. We are just the conduits for how he shares his message. So I want to invite you, if you're watching this again on a Tuesday, you can call it tomorrow morning. Turn around and call later at 8 p.m. Be great for you. I believe it'll be great for us as well. Well, listen, some of you all looked out. If you're part of our spiritual family, I had every intention this past Sunday on announcing a fast. That's right. I was telling them that we're adding a fast on to this daily prayer call. But I got caught up. That subject matter was so big and heavy that I forgot. I forgot. Some of y'all, you ought to thank God for forgetfulness, because some of you all just would have been oppressed. If you're watching this, though, I want to invite you to do this. Maybe it's too late for me to call a full hour, but it's not too late for me to ask you to think about doing something. I want you to just kind of think about what it is you're eating and drinking these days. If you say, you know what, I've been consuming a whole lot more other beverages, whether it's juice or pop or whatever, and water hasn't really been your focus, I want you to consider what it means to shift the rest of this week. It's moving primarily to a water-focused intake. Now, for some of you, that's not a challenge. For me, it's not a sacrifice. Moving to water won't really be hard for some of you all. So for some of you, you maybe consider what your thing is. Maybe it's candy, maybe it's sweets, maybe whatever it is. But I want to encourage you this week to set something to the side. Again, it's not a formal fast. I'm not calling it corporately. I call that, yes, it's coming next week. I'll give you all a guide as well with it. But I do want to invite you to consider this. To consider if what is not your primary beverage, not the one you focus on, to switch this week Why water? Because for a lot of y'all, that's a real sacrifice. Coffee is what holds some of y'all together from cussing out your coworkers. So switching it to water will do something for some of you all. Why do we fast? We fast not because we want to show off to other people. We fast because we believe it's an intentional sacrifice of something to become closer to God. So I'm asking you to do this for health reasons, for emotional reasons, but primarily for spiritual reasons. I'll talk more about it on Sunday. We'll actually jump into a real one together next week. But I think if you get a head start, it'll prepare you for what's to come. I do want to invite you to do that. I think all of my announcements are out of the way. These shirts should be on the website by now for you to be able to go and order your shirt. Then we'll do a swag day one of these Sundays. We'll take a picture at home. We'll post them all together. And we'll be able to just kind of, again, be together but be apart. Be apart but be together. Yeah, be apart but be together. We're apart together. We're better together. And you can go online to be able to get those. They should be on the website by now. If you have any questions, reach out and let us know. But listen, I want to continue. We're in a series on rejection and relationships. We're going to be in this until we're done. God shared this message on Sunday about forgiveness, and I mean, wow, forgiveness. Some of y'all hadn't realized that you hadn't forgiven yourself. It's incredible. So we're going to continue in that same vein. Tonight I'm going to share another message on this whole idea about rejection in relationships. I believe it's going to benefit all of us. I'll come back at the end for some marching orders. I believe it's going to be great. God's going to get the glory. Keep doing what you've been doing. Share somebody, tell somebody, invite somebody else to watch and worship with us. We're going to go up tonight. We're going to grow tonight. Let's go.
All right, here it is. This series is so important because the greatest joys and the greatest pain both come from the same place. That is relationships. This series is so important because your greatest joys and your greatest pain both come from the same place. That is relationships. Relationships are more than just about relationships. Relationships are about your life. Therefore, relationship management is life management. Relationships are more than just hanging out, having fun. They're about your life. Therefore, learning how to develop, cultivate, and to place, and to make sure you are properly managing and stewarding, faithfully stewarding, responsibly handling relationships is not just relationship management, but instead it is life management, because every single area of your life is inevitably impacted by your relationships, your physical, spiritual, financial, emotional, and even your professional life is tethered to and tied to who you allow to be in your life, to impact your life, to speak into your life, to speak around your life, whoever it is you are allowing to, in whatever the way is, influence your life. Therefore, if you are serious about taking your life to the next level, you have to be serious about taking your relationships to the next level. And to understand relationships, I would be remiss if I did not talk about the impact that rejection has on our relationships. Rejection, the most common emotional wound we sustain in our daily life. We have all experienced rejection in one way or another, and we all suffer from or have suffered from the impact of its painful influence. Rejection can occur through minor circumstances, like a lack of somebody responding back to your text message. Maybe you got dismissed when you jumped into the DM, whatever that case may be. Maybe they told you no when you asked them out, or maybe when you applied for the promotion, you didn't get it. Or maybe somebody just walked past you and you thought that they saw you and they really may not have even seen you, but they walked past and didn't speak, and it left you feeling rejected. The rejection of the loss, the significant loss of a loved one, somebody betraying you, somebody walking out of your life, somebody not contributing to your life the way you felt like they should contribute to your life. Rejection is real, and the sting of rejection, the infection from rejection, is an epidemic that is occurring everywhere. Nobody gets out alive and unscathed. Yes, the infection from rejection is often undetected, undiagnosed, and I want to tell you it is very, very underestimated. But no matter who you are and how much you have accomplished, you will ultimately and inevitably have to deal with the realities of rejection. I can say this with confidence because the person who walked this earth, the most perfect person to ever walk this earth, he dealt with rejection. People rejected him. He always said the right thing, always said it when it needed to be said, but people still rejected him. The scriptures tell us very clearly that the stone the builders rejected became our chief cornerstone. We build our life and we build our faith on Jesus Christ, and the world, the people, the religious leaders even rejected him. People rejected Jesus, so people are going to reject you. And what I want to teach us in this series is how to do like Jesus did and learn how to properly steward and manage our emotions, and to not allow our emotions to dictate and determine how we handle or how we don't appropriately handle some form of our relationships. Everybody has dealt with rejection in some way, shape, or form. Again, denied the job, that is rejection. Denied the promotion you're broken up with, that's rejection. Not picked for the squad, not picked up on the team, that's rejection. If you didn't make the team, you didn't get the scholarship, all of these different forms of rejection, everybody everywhere has had to deal with it. And the enemy wants to use rejection to inhibit your progress. He wants to use rejection to prevent you from trying to go forward. He wants to use rejection to block your blessings and stop your progress. He wants to use rejection to throw you backward. And because rejection is the weapon that the enemy uses to not just wound your mind, but he uses it to wound your soul. He uses it as a way to make you feel like you are less than, to make you feel like you haven't made as much progress as you have. And I said this a couple weeks ago, and you've got to understand this. So I'm going to say it again, that rejection very often is not an indication of your value. It may be a issue with their vision or their lack of vision. And so you've been feeling like it's a value problem, and it's not a value problem. It's a vision problem. They don't see what God put inside of you. They don't see you for the person God has made you to be. And some of you all, you feel a way about yourself because of a lack of vision, but it's not a lack of value. God knew what he put in you. God knew how he made you. God is unapologetic. He said you are fearfully and wonderfully made. He made you in his image. So he knew what he put in you when he made you. Don't let anybody else's lack of vision make you feel like you don't have value. You are more valuable than what they're saying about you. And God so knew that. It says in Jeremiah 29:11, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and to give you a future, plans to give you an expected end. He said, Jeremiah, in Jeremiah chapter 1, before you were formed, I knew you. I knew you in your mother's womb. I knew what I put in you. I'm just saying that to let you know forthrightly, you have value. Your life is an answer to a problem on this planet. Your life is an answer to a problem on this planet. Your existence is not by accident. You are here on purpose, for purpose. You have a purpose. All right. And the enemy wants to use rejection. Rejection is painful. I revealed this to you all a couple weeks ago, that an MRI study some years ago let us know that rejection activates the same portion of the brain that is used to process physical pain. So in other words, when we feel rejection, it happens as deeply as a burned hand or a broken bone. So it's no wonder that people use all kinds of coping mechanisms to deal with the realities of rejection. It's not just words. It's not just something. It does something to us, because all of us want to be loved. All of us want to be accepted. All of us want to feel like I fit in. And rejection speaks to that. Rejection pushes that backwards. Rejection can make you regress and go backwards. And so what I want to talk about and what I want to deal with today is the criticalness of your relationships to help you combat rejection, to help you fight off this internal bleeding that happens around rejection, to help you fight against and to resist the wounds associated with rejection. And because some people, they fall back when they get rejected. They go into isolation when they get rejected. So and there's this, and some of you all don't realize how much you've been affected by rejection, but it comes out, some of you all, it comes out in the form of your people-pleasing desire. You don't want to feel rejected, so you kind of look for this validation from people unintentionally and sometimes unconsciously. There's almost this savior complex. You don't want anybody to tell you no, and therefore you don't tell anybody else no, and you have began to attach that junk, that dysfunction to your personality. And you begin to say stuff like, that's just how I am. But I want to tell you, that's not how Jesus was. And so if that's not how he was, he is our example. He is our model. He is our picture. He is our leader. And if he is our example, we ought to look at what it means for us to follow and to live our life in a way that reflects the direction he wants us to go. Remember, this is our year of becoming better. This is our year of becoming better. It's not just about behavioral modification. It's about life transformation. It's not just modifying based on past performance. It's about evolving because the vision for your future requires something new. The future you is calling you. And our goal is to empower you through the leading of the Holy Spirit to transform into the person that is required for you to answer that call. 2020 is your year of better. It's your year of transformation. It's our year of transformation. We're committed to getting better. Let's hear it every day. In every way, we are getting better and better. Now, I want to read a story to you very quickly. I don't have much longer to spend with you all this morning, but here is 1 Kings chapter number 19. 1 Kings chapter 19, it says in verse number 1, now Ahab told Jezebel everything Elijah had done and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. So Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah to say, may the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I don't make your life like that of one of them. And Elijah was afraid and he ran for his life. He was afraid and ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there. He left the right relationships. He left the people who would speak into him. He left the servant there while he went himself on a day's journey into the wilderness. He left the people, that person who speaks life, that encourages him. And he went into the wilderness because sometimes rejection makes you go into isolation. Sometimes you feel like you just need to get away from everybody and to get by yourself. And sometimes you need that when you're able to encourage yourself. But if you're not able yet to encourage yourself, you need to be around people who can speak back into you, who can affirm that which you feel like is lacking, who can speak positivity into your life when you're always around negativity. He went into the wilderness and that was dangerous for him. And I want to tell some of you all it's dangerous for you. Some of you all run away from church when life gets rough. And I want to tell you that is so incredibly dangerous. That's the safe space. That's your fueling station. That's where you need to be when life gets tough and challenging. He says he came into a broom bush and sat down under it and prayed that he might die. He said, I have had enough, Lord. He said, take my life. I'm no better than my ancestors. And it says he fell asleep under the bush, laid down. He laid down, fell asleep under the bush. And once an angel touched him and said, get up and eat. He looked around and there by his head was this baked bread and hot coals in a jar of water. He ate, drank, laid down. Angel touched him yet again, said, get up and eat. The journey is too great for you. So he got up, ate and drank. Strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights till he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. And then he went into a cave and spent the night, and the Lord appears to him. Listen, this is an incredible story. When you get a chance, go read it. 1 Kings chapter number 19. But here's the idea of it. Jezebel, the King Ahab's wife. So Elijah has won great feats. He has experienced great victory. He has accomplished a whole lot for the kingdom of God. He has experienced the power of God in ways many of us wish that we could. But all of us have to know this. Just because you've had a great season of great victory doesn't mean you won't run against obstacles in your next one. And in fact, the most dangerous thing some of you all do and some of us do is we run from victory into another war and we don't take time to rest. And what happened here is he had experienced a great victory, but he was fatigued. He was fatigued. He had just defeated 850 men with his words. He had just came against these false prophets, and he had just won in conversation with them. But here it is, this woman shows up and she's able to frighten him with a threat. And he's at a place where he feels like he's had enough. She's so defeated him. And here's what happens. You've got to know your life is so tethered to and tied to. So when I talk about relationships are important to you, you've also got to know you got to deal with your junk, because your life is catalytic for somebody else's life. So Elijah being off course and off base meant that the people who were counting on Elijah would also be off course and off base. They would also be stuck. And so you got to know, you got to get your junk right, your life right, your head right, because there are people that are counting on you to lead them out of where they are. All right, so I'm there. 1 Kings chapter number 19. I promise I only got about 8 more minutes for you all. Here it is. You've got to know this, that Elijah made the same mistake we make, that when we feel rejected, because when you're depleted, when you're empty, when you're feeling hurt, when you're feeling fatigued is when you typically make bad decisions. And so even though he might have been able to withstand the words of this woman when he was stronger, because he was feeling weak and defeated, the words stung more than they normally do. And some of you all are up against some stuff. Normally you would be able to fight against the rejection a little bit more. You would be able to take the no better. You'd be able to take what you're experiencing better if you weren't in such a fatigued state. If you weren't so tired of feeling like you're fighting on every front, you might be able to face it better. And so what Elijah does here is what we often do, is we run ourselves away. It says he ran for life. He kept running. He didn't want to face it. And what you don't face, you won't be able to overcome. What you don't reveal can never be healed. And some of you need to get healed. You need to be open. You need to pursue wholeness. And because you're running away from the problem, you're pretending as if everything is okay, and it's not. You will not be able to walk into your healing. You will not be able to experience fulfillment and joy if you keep pretending like you're okay. If you're not okay, it is okay to not be okay. It is just not okay to stay not okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's just not cool to stay there. Am I making sense? Talk back to me if you hear me. I know I'm talking better than I can hear you. Rejection, these words. And what he does is he leaves the people who could encourage him. You got to have people in your life who can speak into your life. And when you're feeling down, you got to be vulnerable enough to run toward those people instead of running away from those people. You need to be around people who can speak life back into you. Everybody can't do that. Everybody doesn't have the accuracy to speak with truth. And sometimes you need to be able to, first of all, you have to be able to discern who is able to speak into your life in a way where it can make a positive difference. But again, I want you to see this. So it's here. I want to be clear about this. Whenever you get out of the will of God, you're liable to do all kind of foolish stuff. And we've kind of relegated being out of the will of God. We've relegated that to just like sin. But disobedience is out of the will of God. Leaving communication with God, consistent communication with God is out of the will of God. Disobedience to what he said go left, you go right. That's being out of the will of God. He say go now, you say I'm gonna go later. That's being out of the will of God. And whenever you're out of the will of God, you're going to experience fatigue and frustration at another place. Am I making sense? And when you find Elijah here, because Elijah isn't flowing and isn't looking for help, he isn't looking to God like he was when he was winning. So now he's at this place where he's feeling alone and isolated. And this woman speaks to him in a way where she speaks to the little boy in him, because all of us still have a little boy in us. Every man has a little boy still on the inside. Every woman still has a little girl on the inside. And if you're not around people affirming and validating, and if you're not spending the appropriate time with God pouring back into you, focusing on the truth that he said about you, the wrong thing will trigger the wrong response. And so you've got to be connected to God. You've got to be flowing in a kind of way. If you're going to be better, you got to be committed to getting better every day, not just on Sundays. I'm getting better every day in every way, every day in every way, every day in every way. I'm not just getting better on Sundays. I'm not just getting better on Tuesdays for Bible study. I'm not just getting better on Wednesdays for the prayer call. Those are supplements. Those are my fill me ups. Those are my pick me ups. But I'm getting better every day in every way. This is my year of better. Here's what it says, though. I don't have time to do it like I feel it. I didn't plan to get on this video and act like this, but I feel something sneaking up on me, because here it is. What you discover is this. What ends up happening as the passage continues. So he runs away. Big mistake. You need the right relationships. As iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen one another. Because the right voice would have said, man, don't focus on the negative. He tells God, man, look, I've had enough. It's in verse number 4. He says, I have had enough. Just kill me. Take my life. I've had enough. The right voice would have said, brother, do you know what you're saying? Do you know what God has done? Have you forgotten what God has brought you through? Have you forgotten the faithfulness of God in your past? You need the kind of people who are in your life to say, man, you tripping. You're tripping. I know you feel empty. That was rough. What you just came through was rough. So you should feel empty. You shouldn't be doubting God. Let me say that again. What you went through should have left you feeling empty, but it should not have left you doubting God. Yeah, 2019 might have been rough for some of you. And so you came into 2020 feeling a little drained, a little fatigued, but it shouldn't have dictated and determined whether or not you have faith. I still believe God. I don't care what last year looked like. There were some points in last year I was ready to end a whole lot of stuff. But let me tell you, I'm so glad that I didn't. I still believe God. Some stuff I prayed for in 2018 has not came to manifestation yet. Let me tell you this, I still believe God, because my faith is built on nothing less than Jesus. I feel, let me tell you, the foundation of my faith is not dictated and determined by what I see right now. It's based upon what God said. And Elijah's problem, he started talking about, I'm left alone. I and only I am here. He starts speaking this foolish stuff. He feels like only he is there. I've had enough. I'm no better than my fathers. And if you keep focusing on the lies of the enemy, you will miss out on the truth from God. If you keep focusing on the lies of the enemy, what your mind is telling you that is contrary to what God keeps telling you. So you keep focusing on what you keep telling yourself in your weak state instead of what God keeps trying to tell you. So if you keep focusing on the lies, you're the one who's hurting your healing. Your choice to reject the truth of God's word about your life is hindering your healing. Is hindering your progress. Your choice to reject the lie, to reject the truth of the people God's put in your life. Some of you all come every Sunday. You hear me preach every Sunday and you be like, that's a good word, Rev, but that ain't for me. That's a good word, Rev, but I can't walk in that. I can't do that. I'm not there yet. You choosing to reject God's truth is holding you back. I want to let you know today, you can walk in freedom. You can walk in wholeness. You can take steps toward progress. Rejection. It's led Elijah to feel like everybody else is shouting his name. Everybody else is shouting for him. They're cheering him on. They're walking with him. They're rolling with him. But in your vulnerable state, the one voice of rejection can make you forget everybody else who's rocking with you. They can make you forget the voices that matter. And what happens is this: if you keep rejecting the truth of God and listening to the lies of the enemy, you will feel just like Elijah felt. If you allow your feelings of rejection, what didn't happen, how it happened, what you thought was going to happen and it didn't happen yet, how you pictured it working out, this approval addiction. I want everybody to like me. And if everybody doesn't like me, then it's a problem, because everybody else feels like you're good. They know who you are. They know the value you add. But this one person, these few people aren't able to kind of contribute in the same way. They feel like you're whatever. And it sends you into this wreck. You're in trouble. And here's what I want to tell you, because the second thing I see is this. Not only do I see that you got to replace the lies of the enemy with the truth of God's word. Not only do I see that you have to have the right relationships around you, people who can speak into you. Not only do I see that, you have to know this. Some of you are on this pursuit of overcoming rejection, of being healed from rejection and walking into the right relationships. You've got to learn that God speaks in a still small voice. He doesn't always speak in a loud, thunderous voice. He doesn't always speak through a burning bush. That was one time in all 66 books of the Bible. He only shows up in a burning bush one time. And some of y'all want him to keep speaking keep speaking through burning bushes. You want him to keep doing stuff that he hasn't done in years. He never told you he would keep speaking to you that way. He just told you that he would speak to you. God speaks to us through thoughts, words, situations, ideas, but primarily his words. Thoughts, ideas, people, situations, but primarily his word. He still speaks. But when he speaks, you have to know this. It's in this passage where you see it. I said it's in around verse number 8 that you'll see it communicated here. And it says that the word of the Lord shows up to him and he asks him the question. It says, what are you doing here, Elijah? What are you doing here, Elijah? This is when he tells them, I'm no better than my fathers. I'm no better than all these other kind of people. You know, I came, I thought I was better than them, but I'm no better than them. And so as a result, I'm the only person left, Lord. So just, they're trying to kill me. I'm fighting for everybody. And the people trying to kill me now. The people who were with him weren't trying to kill him. Those who were against him were trying to kill him. But again, rejection, fatigue, it can make you interpret stuff the wrong way. And the Lord said to him in verse number 11, go out and stand by the mountain. And it says a strong wind passed by, shattering the rocks, but the Lord wasn't in the wind. It says after that, an earthquake passed by, but the Lord wasn't in the earthquake. Then a great fire came by, and the Lord wasn't in the fire. And it says after the fire came a gentle whisper. And the Lord said to him, what are you doing here, Elijah? What am I communicating? That God speaks in a small, still voice. And sometimes we're waiting on God to speak to us in this thunderous sound. And he's speaking to us in our stillness. He's letting you know you are valuable. He's letting you know you are loved. He's letting you know you still got purpose. He's letting you know it's not over for you yet. He's letting you know they may not have loved you, but they didn't love you. Just because they didn't love you, don't mean I don't love you. Just because they didn't love you, don't mean others won't love you. Just because they didn't see your value, don't mean you don't have value. Just because they don't have vision, don't mean somebody else won't see you for what you're worth. He speaks to you in a small, still voice. And as we prepare for Lent, depending on if you're watching this video live today, we're right before Lent, we're right before Ash Wednesday, the 40 days leading up to Easter. We're going to start a new devotional period together where I'm going to push you all and reflect with you all through weekly devotions to encourage you, because you need to spend time with God in order to grow. Spend time with God in order to grow. Spend time with God in order to grow. You got to get your reps up with God so you can get your spiritual strength up, so you can go out there and the stuff that people used to say about you don't bother you like it used to. You got to get your community up, your spiritual community up, to be able to push you and to propel you into your future, because that's what happens in this text. It says that the Lord speaks to Elijah in the small wind. He speaks to him. It's not in the theatrics. It's in some of the small stuff. He wasn't in the wind. He wasn't in the earthquake. He wasn't in the fire. He was in the ordinary. He was in the ordinary. And I want to tell you that some of you all are running away from some critical people in your life. Sometimes you let the right people leave out. You did a good job of that. But sometimes you're not trusting some of the other voices he's placed in your life, or you're not being honest with some of the right voices he's placed in your life. And you waiting on something else to kind of come by. Again, some of you all, he speaks to you all very clearly on Sundays. You're like, man, how did the preacher know this? He's like, I'm reading your mail. It's like you read my text messages. It's like, how did you know this? I want to tell you this because God's speaking to you, seemingly through the ordinary. And you're waiting on this great big sign, and he's like, I'm speaking to you, and you ain't doing nothing with it. Feel like you got a book full of notes, and you haven't applied them. I want you to know he's speaking to you through the ordinary. And I want to tell you this is the good news of it. He whispers because he's always close. I can whisper and I can count on you to hear me when I know how close I am to you. I'm going to say that again. I can whisper and count on you to hear me when I know how close I am to you. I know how close you are to me. So God hasn't left you. So you might be feeling rejected. You might be feeling neglected. You might be feeling fatigued. You might be feeling whatever. I want to tell you, he's close enough. He's never left you. He's still with you. And you can pick yourself up with the strength of God, with the help of God, and you can get back together and you can start taking steps forward, because God's not finished with you. He's got plans for you. The devil is who shouts lies. God whispers truth. He's drawing you close. He is with you. He is here. He's never left you. He says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. It says that I am close to the brokenhearted. I came to heal the brokenhearted. When they draw nigh to me, I will draw nigh to them. And I want to encourage you to dig in, to pray, to worship, to read, to study, to spend time with God, to go watch these other sermons, to just spend some time growing together, to spend time talking to some people. We all need people in our lives. You need Christ. You need Jesus. If you don't know him, I want to encourage you today to make the decision to get to know him. If you know him and you haven't been walking with him, I want to encourage you to walk with him. You need Christ. You need a coach. You need somebody to push you, because you're not going to push yourself. Some of you all need a counselor. Some of you all need actual therapy and counseling. There's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes you just need people with wise counsel. You need, what Bible says, there's wisdom in the multitude of counselors. You need counselors to help you on this journey. Am I doing this right? Am I getting this right? People you trust. You need a pastor. If you're here and you don't have a pastor, I don't want to assume I'm everybody's pastor. For some of you, I'm just your source of spiritual nourishment. For some of you, I'm just your source of spiritual truth. And you listen to me like you listen to some other people. But some of you all, I'm your pastor. And you've got to know when I'm speaking to you, that when I'm communicating this, I'm not doing this because I feel like it. I'm doing it because God is writing a love letter directly to you to tell you something about you for your future and for your family. You got to know it. But you've got to know it for yourself. Because when you get isolated, you focus on all the truth, you focus on all the lies of the enemy. You focus on everything you don't have, and you miss it on everything you do have. And what happens is this is what I need you to know. This is critical. Some of you all are so tired and you feel like you could just kind of sleep it away. That's not what happened here. You feel like isolation can fix it. That's not what happened here. What happens here first is it says the angel appeared and tells Elijah, look, I need you to arise and eat. And he says, I need you. He goes, they lay back down. He go back, sleep again. Said, look, I need you to arise and eat. He comes back one more again. Look, arise and eat. And I need you to go here because I want you to go on what I just gave you, because the journey ahead is too great for you. Listen, hear me. Some of you all have been running on empty and you've been looking for the wrong stuff to fill you back up. You've been looking for all these other kind of things to give you coping mechanisms to deal with your pain, to deal with the stuff from your past. I want to tell you, sometimes all you have is the last word he gave you, and you got to go on that strength, not your own. Some of you all today, this thing spoke loud for you. I need you to meditate on this all week long. Go on this word. Go on this word. Go on the word from this series. Better is your portion. Go on our theme word for this year. Better is your portion. You deserve better because God intended for you to experience better. His purpose for you, he has a better purpose for you than the purpose you have for yourself. A greater purpose for you than you have for yourself. He intends for you to experience life and life more abundantly. Don't settle for less, and don't let somebody else tell you less than what God has spoken. He's got plans for you. He's got plans for you. And what he does is he reminds Elijah that he's got plans. He reminds Elijah. He starts telling Elijah stuff he got for him to do. He says, there's still work for you to do. You're not finished, player. And he gives Elijah an assignment. Not only is there work for you, but there's somebody else I need you to raise up and train up. Let me say this, and then I'm going to let you go. If you don't get your healing right, if you don't deal with rejection right, if you don't deal with you right, if you don't let God work on you, you are going to significantly impact those who come after you. And there's a generation out here who's hurting right now. Some of you all are a part of the generation that's hurting right now because of mismanagement from previous generations. And what I'm saying is we no longer have to walk in the hurt of that. We no longer have to walk in the hurt of that. We can get healed and we can get free. The Lord wants to set you free. Philippians chapter number 4 says this: rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. The Lord is near. It says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. That's my prayer for you today, is that you become anxious for nothing, but in everything, you go to God in prayer and supplication, and you allow his peace that doesn't make sense, to guard your heart and to guard your mind. I know you've been tired, but you don't have to stay there. You can get up, and you can get free, and you can't get strong.
I warned you. It was real. It was honest, but it was needed. God is using this time so we can get better, to strengthen us, to heal our hearts, to renew our minds. I'm growing with you during this time. I want to say thank you for continuing to watch, continuing to be faithful. I want to invite you to do two things. Maybe you need to make a decision to connect tonight, today, whenever you're watching this. You can text the word connect to 708-449-8197, or you can click the link that may be making available. That may be in the description of this, or you can go to our website, www.empowerment.church. Click that connect button. When you do it, when you text the word connect, you're going to get a link sent back to you. Click that link. You didn't join the church because you got our automated text. You joined the church when you fill out the connect card. I want to be clear. Some of y'all think because you text a number, it's like we got it. It's like I don't know who you are if you just randomly text the number. Click the button, click the link, fill out the connect card. Let me know. We want to welcome you to our family. We don't want you to be a ghost member. You on Instagram, you got ghost followers. They talk to you about your picture, but they don't like the picture. You ghost follow it. Don't be a ghost member. Let us know that you joined. I want to welcome you to the family. I want you to do that for me. You can text the word connect, 708-449-8197. Maybe you need to give tonight. You heard the word, you believe. We believe that we give every time God gives us a chance to give, every time we have an opportunity to give. And some of you all, today might even be your payday. Remember I told you before that I don't just give on Sunday. I give when God gives it to me. So today might even be your day that you get paid. Today might be the day somebody put something in your hand. God, the word says that God gives seed to the sower. So I want to invite you to give however you want to. Maybe the message has touched your heart and you want to just put something toward that. You want to say, look, I don't know. I stumbled upon your live stream. I stumbled upon this video by accident, but I want to be generous. I want to express my thankfulness to God through my generosity because you believe in the ministry, you believe in what we're doing here. We're committed to doing the best we can to see people reached, lives restored, and generations empowered. We want to reach as many people as possible, see them empowered to win. Why? Because we believe Christ gave us the victory. We want to see others be victorious. Your generosity helps us to do it. I want to say thank you in advance. I want to say thank you to my empowerment family and friends for your generosity during this time. You can text the word empowerment to 77977. Text the word empowerment to 77977. Give online. You can click the links to make it available. You can go to the website. You can give via the Empowerment Anywhere app. Or, you like me, man, when we were meeting in the building, I was still writing checks weekly. Now, because it's easier for me, I give online like everybody else. But I was writing my check. I was old school. I like to lick the envelope, put it in the basket. We can't do that today, but if you give by check, you give by cash, you can still do that. You just need to fill it out, put it in an envelope, and send it to P.O. Box 335, Maywood, Illinois. Some of you all have been doing that. I want to say thank you. Some of you all mail me cards or you mail letters to the church. Thank you. We read them all. We see them all. I see them all. I want to say thank you. If I didn't acknowledge it, we probably didn't get it. Don't think I'm ignoring your message. I want to let some people like, why you ain't answering my letter? If I didn't acknowledge your letter, I probably didn't get it. So just make sure that you send it to the correct P.O. Box. It's P.O. Box 335, Maywood, Illinois, 60153. I want to say thank you for those who connected tonight. Thank you for those who gave tonight. I am praying for you. If you're part of our family and you know me and I know you, listen, we miss you. We love you. We're praying for you. Talk with you all real soon. Let's go.